Let's talk about the recent stuff with the boys and a little bit of Rings of Power and how Amazon and other big entities like it, such as Warner, Disney, Paramount, utilize outlets like Forbes, Washington Post, New York Times, all these blue checkmark journalists to run damage control for them, because that's what they're doing. That's what all of this stuff with Rings of Power is. It's damage control. But I want to start here because now The Boys, which doesn't even have a season out right, like the season 4, I think is filming and they have a spinoff coming. Erin Moriarty, who plays Starlight, and I had no idea that this was apparently a controversy. I've never read the comics, but I think she was gender flipped in the show. Starlight's a guy in the book. I don't know. I haven't read the books. I've watched the show, and I mostly like the show, just to be straight up honest. I think it's actually a pretty entertaining show. I don't have a problem with this character. I think she looks good. She's fit. She's pretty. She's not a bad actress. I don't think that she's bad on the show. So, I don't know. She's apparently saying that she experienced a lot of trolling during season 2 and that it bothered her. And for some reason, she's blaming this Andrew Tate guy for it. I don't know shit about this guy. He's been in the news a lot lately. I don't know anything about him, good or bad. All I know about this guy is he's a boxer and turned men's advice guy. I don't know. But she came out and I guess blamed him and claimed that some trolls were after her. Never with any receipts, by the way. I don't like that when receipts aren't shown. But maybe she did experience the trolling. I don't know. I don't have anything bad to say about her acting or her on the show. And I haven't heard anybody say, but I'm new to The Boys, so I just watched it recently. But I did enjoy the show. So, I don't know. All I do know is that the showrunner came out and said something stupid in this article that we're going to go over a little bit. So, from what I understand, this is the guy who runs The Boys, not the comic creator, the showrunner. With a really tone-deaf tweet. I don't think he really understands what he's saying here. It says, "Hi, trolls." This is, by the way, this is him retweeting the Variety article where Erin Moriarty, the Starlight actress, talked about misogynistic Boys fans hating her. He said, I feel silenced and dehumanized. And he responded and says, "Hi, trolls. 1, this is literally the opposite of the show's effing message. 2, you are causing pain to real people with real feelings. Be kind. If you can't be kind, then eat a bag of D's, F off to the sun, and don't watch #The Boys. We don't want you. #The Boys TV. What's funny is he says, be kind, and then if you can't be kind, end yourself, basically. That's kind of like the opposite message to what you're saying. You should just end it at be kind. If you just ended it at be kind, I think that would be a fine statement, but no, he had to add the rest. He's kind of a jerk, that guy. But the show's good, in my opinion. Like I said, the reason I'm bringing up this article is because Forbes, once again, running to damage control, calling fans toxic. Everyone, from The Boys to the Rings of Power, everyone is tired of toxic fans. The only people that are tired of quote-unquote toxic fans, by the way, are these journalists who are mad that people don't listen to them and billion-dollar companies who are mad that people criticize it. They use ist and phobe deflection to beat off criticism of bad shows. And this talking point that I'm going to use again I'm going to use every time I talk about this because everybody should be using this. They claim that all of these racists hate Rings of Power, but for some reason, they're okay with the House of Dragons. They're okay with House of Dragons, but they're not okay with Rings of Power. It doesn't make any sense. So they're completely ignoring all the POC in House of Dragon and giving that show praise, but they're against Rings of Power. Two similar shows in that they're fantasies, and they had similar controversy leading up to their release. Maybe it's just a bad show. It's funny that every time this happens where they label fans toxic, it's always in defense of a bad show usually. Obi-Wan comes to mind. They even bring up the all-female Ghostbusters reboot because, of course, they do. That movie's awful. But you know what? We deflect all of the criticism on reboot on the Ghostbusters 2016 movie because of misogyny. It's not legit criticism. It's misogyny and racism. The Last Jedi's in here. It's funny how when a show or a movie that's actually good come out, and they have all of the same diversity that all of these other things that they claim people hate have, they don't get any hate, and people seem to like it and defend it. It's funny, huh? And they think that people don't notice that. Look at this. Sharing Critical Drinker's thumbnail in here. Just this random person. I don't even know who this is. Colin. I watched this video, and it's literally just racist and sexist. Lol. With no context. Isn't that funny? So this article does not go over the video at all. Just shares this guy's Twitter post like he's an authority. Who is this guy? Some guy with 2,000 followers. He, him, 22. No interaction at all on his timeline. But guess what? He's an authority enough to call the Critical Drinker an istophobe in a Forbes article. He actually has really good criticism of properties, but none of that matters. We're not going to talk about or counter any of the points that he made in his Prey review, which he actually said that it was actually a pretty good movie. Now, we're not going to even mention that. What we're going to do is just say that this is just a ist and phobe video. That's how we'll deal with it. Then, of course, they drum up all this. It's just funny to see them go after fans that have criticism like this. And it's all for a machine so that they can keep pumping out trash after trash after trash. And the funny thing about it all is the people that write this shit don't get any money for it. I mean, they get their salary or whatever they're paid from these companies. But Amazon and Paramount and Warner, they don't give these people any money. They literally do it for access, tote bags, gifts, and head pats from corporations. That's what's more pathetic about all of this. And they're also very salty and mad that we don't look at them for any kind of advice anymore. Because before forums and YouTube, where people could get their own voices and people could look for voices similar to theirs, the only way we used to find out about anything coming out is through media, or we would find out something through, some journalist. And they were kind of the gatekeepers of information and what's what. But now with, even just Twitter, you can search a hashtag. People that run shows or video games or whatever, they can speak out directly to fans through their handles on social media, making, in a lot of ways, people that work at Forbes and IGN all irrelevant. We don't need them anymore. But they're so desperate to make themselves relevant and try to do a last little grasp of power that they label everybody toxic. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here. I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals.